Hi, vroom vroom to ya. I'm Bran, and I love Fast and the Furious. Well, Fast Fridays is literally what I love, to be honest with you.
Strong start. I'm Ryan, and I like Fast Fridays.
Vroom
Vroom vroom to you.
Vroom,
I'm
vroom.
Dan.
Thank you.
I also really like Fast Fridays. This is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Greetings, salutations.
Oh, boy.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be back
Man.
for the second Fast Friday.
And we premiered Fast Fridays last week to rave review.
We're really.
Big time.
Everybody loved it aside from one person who says, this is not why I'm here. And I don't know who that was, but they said that on Instagram.
Fair.
And for you, I'm sure you're not listening. I'm sorry. But for everyone else that loved it, we're back.
And I apologize to that person up front last week. I made a point to apologize. If you recall, I said there's
did.
going to be people who don't like this. And so I don't know what that person wants from us, or me in particular.
I'm here to get away from the real world where Ludacris is explaining how to defeat Verone and his mob. I'm here. I don't want that part of that in my life.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. A shout out to a couple of people that left reviews, specifically the one that said, I hate how Ryan bullies everyone.
It's so great.
So there's that.
That's a great review, too.
Vanessa also says, I'm a little concerned, though, about Ryan's bullying of Bran
Yeah.
with a bread emoji. So it's tough.
Give him 3,000, however we can
That's
get
right.
him. Is
It
what
doesn't
I
matter
say,
how.
You know?
Yeah, so we're 3 reviews richer than we were this time last
right.
week. So we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
And you're not going to tell them that at the end of the episode, it was like at the end of the review, they were like, sorry, Ryan.
No.
You guys told me to do
No,
that.
they didn't say that. They didn't say that. They're mad at Ryan. Ryan's
My reputation is besmirched.
it is
Fine.
it is
all for the love of the 1.5 mile at a time, you know?
That's exactly
That's
right. Fun fact about the movie we're doing today, Too Fast, Too Furious, which I was shocked to find out that Vin Diesel is not in this movie, and that he's not in this movie because he thought the script was bad,
was not good enough for his standards.
and he didn't want to get pigeonholed. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he said I didn't want to get pigeonholed. There won't be a joke told all month funnier than that one. Vin Diesel turned down the second Fast and the Furious movie because he was afraid over the next 20 years that people might pigeonhole him into a Vin Diesel type.
But also, guys, let me show my range with such titles as The Pacifier
Pitch
and
Black.
Chronicles of
Yeah,
Riddick.
Pitch Black,
Part
Chronicles
6.
of Riddick. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Triple X. He really stretched himself. And thank God he didn't do Too Fast, Too Furious, or we'd have never seen what actor he could be.
Yeah.
It would have been a real shame.
We're talking about Too Fast, Too Furious, which came out on June 6th, 2003. And in case you missed it, 20 years ago.
2023 minus 2003.
20th anniversary of Too
It's
Fast.
the 20th and happy 20th.
Happy
Too Fast.
20th, Too Fast.
Hey, they said we never make it to Too Fast 20 or to week 2 of
That's
Fast
right.
Fridays.
And started
here
from
we
the
are.
bottom, now we're here.
It went a little something like this. Brian, he's on the lam. You remember Brian from last
I remember
movie?
Brian. Yeah.
He is back. He is on the lam because he was a cop who helped Dom get away.
That's right.
And just didn't really do his job. He's hiding in Miami. And by hiding, I mean he is street racing anytime he gets a call from his buddy Taj.
That's right.
To come and show
You
up.
sure it's Taj?
What is it?
It's Tej.
Tej?
I believe it's Tej.
Yeah, Tej.
That's so dumb of me that I would read that as Taj. His buddy Tej calls him and is like, hey, come on over. We got a race for you. Naturally, he wins. 0 prep, 0 problems. Too Fast, Too Furious. We also find out that there is a special song for Too Fast, Too Furious called Too Fast, Too Furious.
Written by one Chris Ludacris Bridges.
And it hits. It hits. The cops do show up. They do arrest him, and they offer to cut him a deal. Wipe his slate clean if he helps them capture Carter Verone.
That's right.
And so the good news is he gets to pick his partner, so he decides to pick his childhood friend Roman. Roman is not happy to see him, though, because he blames him for his arrest and the fact that he still has an ankle monitor. It's all Brian's fault, but what can you do? They fight. It's a real tussle in the sand, but he ends up agreeing because they also offer him a deal, and he's like, you should have led with that. There's also Monica. Monica is new, and because Dom's gone, Dom's sister is gone.
That's right.
So we need someone else.
Jordana Brewster,
Let's bring
Michelle
in
Rodriguez, no Vin Diesel.
Let's bring in Monica. And so Monica is gonna be, she's been undercover as Verone's girlfriend, which is, I don't know how much they're paying her, but not enough. Up it. Up it. So they get in with Verone to be a part of like his team, and they do so by like getting into a shootout with the police. The police are less than thrilled, but they're a part of the team now, so there's other. It's really convenient, I think, for Brian and Roman to be trying to get in with Verone's team, because that means they can do literally whatever they want to. There's some racing. I don't know if you know this. This is Too Fast, Too Furious.
Any race wars?
No race wars that I'm aware of.
Good.
I'm sure there's some underlying race wars, but we don't need to get into that. Not here. So there is some racing. You know the kinds where there's races and whatnot, but not any wars. So Monica comes to warn Brian about the plan that Verone has, and that he needs to get out of there. And she finishes it with a kiss, their first kiss, and it is the type of kiss that you give somebody just in case they die. We've all been there.
Yeah, we have.
But Brian and Roman managed to outsmart Verone and his baddies by getting everybody who's ever driven a car to confuse the police, to confuse Verone, to confuse everybody. Everybody's confused. But you know who's not confused actually is Verone, because Verone's actually outsmarted them. But then Brian outsmarts Verone again by jumping into his boat with a car. So who really, who's outsmarted?
Who's too fast for
That's
who?
exactly right.
Yeah.
So Verone is arrested. Mission accomplished. Brian is now free to race as many street races as he wants to. He can do whatever he wants. And so Brian and Roman want to stay in Miami, and Brian and Monica want to look at each other for as long as they can, or at least until the next movie, because she's not back. And that, my friends, was Too Fast, Too Furious.
We did
Vroom, vroom.
vroom to you.
What does it say that some of my Hallmark synopses are longer than the Fast Friday synopses?
You needed to say.
Okay, fair enough.
What does it say that this movie wasn't up to the standard for Vin Diesel, but was for Eva Mendes?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a thesis statement.
That's right.
There.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we will break this movie down the only way that we know how, the Deck the Hallmark way, here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say 4 seconds. Thank you.
We're back with 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark. The first of which is Hot Take.
The Hot Wheels take.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
The hot take.
What just happened there?
I like that.
Yeah.
Hot Wheels. Sponsored by Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Well, let's not get carried
I
away.
wish
Promo
it
code
was.
DECK at checkout when you buy your Hot Wheels online.
Can you do that?
HotWheels.com.
That's all
Don't go to the
capitals,
store
Deck.
for your toy cars.
No.
Buy them days in advance, like a normal person.
You are really preparing to play.
That's right.
At that
If
point.
you are buying Hot
I'm
Wheels
going to play with
ahead
my
of time.
Hot Wheels this weekend. So I'm going to order them online.
Percent of Hot Wheels that are not an impulse buy are Christmas throw-in by relative.
Oh, I don't know.
Under 5%.
or
I would think so, right?
or a people will collect them.
Yeah.
Collector's
Yeah.
item.
Now those you could
Stay
get
in the box.
Promo code DECK for sure.
Benton cars.
It's our Hot Wheels
stay in the
take.
box. That's
That's what
exactly
it
right.
is.
Hot Wheels take. It's where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back. And I'm going to kick it, throw it, roll it to my good friend Ryan. Here it comes. Here comes the Hot Wheel. Phew.
Got it.
Did you get it?
Yeah, wow, Brand, wow. Master of the sound
Thank
effects,
you.
Brand Greg. I thought this was trending worse than the first one for about the first 15 minutes, if I'm being honest. But then it is worth letting everyone know that I don't know if I guess he is my favorite. Tyrese is my favorite character in the Fast franchise.
Wow.
When the new ones come out, Dana Brand, I look most forward to Tyrese and I guess Luda, but specifically Tyrese making me laugh, right? So it's like that's like the thing I'm probably looking forward to most, other than like the action set pieces, all the obvious stuff that you come in to these flicks for. So I do think that by and large, Tyrese, for those who haven't seen these before, he's maybe a little more serious and gritty in this one than he will become. But the genesis of the character, the foundation of the character was there off rip. I thought Eva Mendes was fun. Bummer she's never come back. Spoiler. The villain, and so like this movie's just Miami Vice though, right, Dan?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, right?
It is Miami Vice. Correct.
Like it's a very interesting kind of hybrid thing. It's like there's half the movie is like a Fast and Furious movie, and then the other half is the Jamie Foxx Miami Vice 3 years before it came out.
Right.
Yeah. So the first movie's a slower watch. I thought this had more going on. That doesn't mean it's better. It just means it had more going on. Ultimately, I thought the majority of the action in the third act was really fun. It worked. I'm happy Tyrese was here. And I'm just trying to get the Fast Four, guys, right? I'm just trying to
that's
get
all
to
we're doing. We're just trying to get the Fast and Furious. That's all we're doing.
I just want the thes gone, right? Once the thes are gone from the title, we're good to go. I think if Brand, my rankings are now 2-1. I kick it to you.
Okay.
Can you believe, on the Tyrese note, can you believe, Ryan, that if upon watching this movie, if someone had told you that Tyrese and Ludacris are going to be relegated to comic relief in the next 6 movies, you would have been like, I'll bet my house that is not the case. But
also that there won't be 6 or 7 more
that's
movies.
Right. But what if I told you there's going to be 8 more movies, and in the last 6 of them, Tyrese and Luda are going to be the comic relief of the films?
Yeah, no, totally. And my biggest wait what is about Luda.
Yeah,
so we'll
Luda.
get there. But I totally agree.
Of course.
Totally agree.
So I agree with you, Ryan. I do think that this movie is better than the first one. Because I in the first one, we're trying to find like a villain, and then it turns out like that Dom's kind of the bad guy.
Yep.
And it's you don't really know what to do with it. This movie, there's no doubt who the villain is, and he's a monster. We get to see him put a rat under a thing and have the rat attack this poor man for kicks and giggles. He's a villain. There's no doubt about it. And I thought there was some the racing scenes, while the effects didn't hold up.
The effects didn't hold up.
Some good racing. I'm my biggest takeaway with these movies so far, and after only seeing like 7, 8, 9, and 10 or whatever it is that I've seen, is I can't believe how bad everyone is.
Yeah.
Like, and I have made it 5, 6 years, however long we've been doing this podcast, not talking about acting performances.
And Paul Walker's going to break you. Paul Walker is going to break you.
And I am not going to talk about somebody who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
But boy, howdy.
The first time you're going to talk about an acting performance is someone that is no longer with us. I'm not one to talk about acting, but Paul Walker sucks.
Brad gives CCB a pass for 5 years.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Paul
CCB
Walker.
has been just like
stop. Here's the thing.
From her track, she's trying to hand everybody. You're like, whatever. Paul Walker dies, and you're like, this guy couldn't act if he wanted to.
It's not just Paul Walker. It's everybody in this movie, aside from Eva Mendes and Verone, are really, really bad. Like there are some conversations that I'm just like, I honestly can't believe that this happened. I can't believe it made it on the screen. And I'm just blown away. I had fun laughing at it. But boy, howdy, is it real bad performances. And am I thrilled that we just saw Fast X in the theaters, that the series is still going on? Of course I am, but I'm shocked at the same time. Like, if I am a studio executive, I know it's bringing in money and whatnot, but like, also have some integrity. Like, we got to shut this down. We have to shut this down for the sake of art. We have to shut it down.
You don't realize how bad Paul Walker is when Vin Diesel is there. And when he's not there, then you're like, oh my goodness, he is just throwing stuff at the screen to see what sticks, and it's not good. But here's the thing is, by the time you get to 4, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, there's something about their performances where they've kind of figured out, and by 5, they've figured out that they work well together and they know what they do and they know their character. And it still feels like Paul Walker's trying to like throw darts and find what his character is.
Paul Walker's doing a voice in this movie.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes he is.
I would say Paul Walker was infinitely better by Fast X.
Yes.
Like to the point where Dan, to your point, he felt lived in the character by that.
Oh no, in 5, 6, and 7, he's carrying the thing, and he's way better than he is in this iteration of the.
Really, Dan, by the time we get to the ones that we're itching to talk about, like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel like crossing each other in the hallway in terms of like what they're doing with their performance.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Listen, I don't want to be an echo chamber around here. This movie is qualitatively garbage. However, it's far more entertaining as a watch than the first one. If we're living in the world where the first one isn't revered because it started this, 10 movie saga, then this movie is just more entertaining. Is it good? No, not particularly. Paul Walker is just there reading lines. I will say, if you've not watched this yet, Carter Verone is played by Cole Hauser, who is now Rip on Yellowstone, and he could not look or act more differently in this movie than he does in Yellowstone. In fact, if you didn't know that information, you could watch the entire Too Fast, Too Furious movie and not know that you were watching Cole Hauser. Ludacris and Tyrese, you can see that they're going to be the thing you want them to be, even though they're not in this movie. The effects are terrible. I would be lying to you if I didn't say Eva Mendes didn't improve this production. Been a fan for a long time. So
she's great.
Thrilled to see her. The movie felt shorter than the first one. It just, the action and the plot and the actual bad guy, to what Brand said, all of that matters. So yeah, it's not good, but for bad, it's a better kind of bad for me than the first one is. But we're all just here to get to 4. That's all we're doing. So I'm 2 than 1. That's where I am. I'm 2 than 1.
2-1.
I will say I'm excited about Tokyo Drift. I haven't seen it. I know that it's a little bit of a Splitsky situation. It is my brother's favorite of the first 3 of the original, and I care about what he thinks. And so I'm going in with an open heart and an open mind.
It's a different movie.
Clear eyes, full heart.
Yeah, can't lose.
But no Paul Walker, no a little tiny Vin Diesel.
Bit of Vin Diesel. But
a tiny little
yeah,
bit
just
of
like
Vin
a
Diesel.
just a skosh, just like a question of Diesel.
Okay.
The movie does star Lucas Black, who is the lead in the Friday Night Lights movie.
Yes.
And
Bow Wow, did I see Bow Wow is in it?
Of course Bow Wow's in it. Yeah, this was almost straight to video.
There is a cult following for Tokyo Drift.
I told Brand it's this thing where this like, how people now have started to say like Batman Begins is the best of the Dark Knight movies, and I'm like, you're crazy that people do this with Tokyo Drift. They're like, if we're being real, like Tokyo Drift's the best fast movie, and I'm like, you've lost your mind. I read 2 lists yesterday, and one of the 2 lists had Tokyo Drift the second best movie of the 10, right behind Fast 5. And I was like, you have lost your mind.
We'll see. Listen, I'm going in. I have nothing knowing, but always going. You know what I mean?
Nothing knowing, but always going.
That's exactly right.
Amen. Let's
get to all the feels. This is where we're talking about what gave us those fast feels.
All the fast feels. all the fast feels.
Fast feels. Ryan?
It was Skim Pickens, Slim Pickens. It was both. It was Skim Milk Pickens. But then at the end, man, we might all have the same one. At least Dan, I could see this being yours. When Brian illogically, impossibly, he's on a dirt road with no traction, about 250 yards, miles, doesn't matter, away from a yacht in the middle of a body of water, and just rips it and floors it and lands on there with little to no damage to him or Tyrese or the vehicle. I said, oh, this is what I'm waiting for, because this is what 4 through 10. There hasn't been any of this yet, right? But for those glorious 20 seconds, I said, this is why everyone in the reviews is going to be calling me a bully. This right here, these 10 films, and so it was just a slither, but it was great. It was
that
glorious.
20 seconds is like a 2 out of 10 in movies 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But it
wouldn't even track.
But in this movie, it's like, ooh, they kind of are starting to figure out the thing we all came to see.
Yeah.
They're getting there.
Yeah. What's great about that and why I loved it is the boat takes off at boat speed.
Yeah.
And he hops on his car and goes in a car racing speed.
That's right.
Down a dirt road in a direction we're not sure of. And somehow they meet. They meet.
In Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, like Tom Cruise has Simon Pegg giving him like exact locations and precise. And Paul Walker's like, got it.
I can do it.
So
I'm just going to eyeball
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
He just does one of these and he's like, I got this.
I would have loved if he broke through and
Yeah.
the boat's just not there. And he's like, missed it by 10 seconds.
Right, that much.
That's tough. I did love that scene. I also loved when they opened up the garage doors and all of the cars come flooding out. I did feel like it went on, I don't know, a few minutes too long. There's so many cars in that garage. How is it even possible? The ability to even arrange that, be like, all right, you back up, then you back, and then we'll all just an amazing feat, I will say, and I don't think it's getting enough credit as the feat that it is, which is putting millions of cars in a single garage. It's a lot of cars. It's one garage. But yeah, I love that. Dano?
I think Paul Walker slings this gem of a line to Tyrese. He says, you remember growing up, playing football in the dirt, doing all the things we did? And I love that line so much. You remember growing up, playing football in the dirt, doing all the things we did? That's it. That's the whole line.
All the things we did.
That's the whole line. And I thought he crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because it actually happened.
And we went out.
Yeah.
With football.
That's right. You playing football in the dirt, doing all the things we did. You got to have at least 2 or 3
other
before you go at all, right? You can't be like, you remember when you were at Bramble Fest, the spoken word, all the things we did? Like, you can't do that. You've got to have, especially for a lifetime. You have a lifetime. You remember growing up together for years and years, playing football in the dirt, doing all the things we did?
One could argue that he actually doesn't remember all of the things he did while growing up.
Yeah, he probably forgot the line and just went with that. And they were like, it's good enough, Paul.
Growing up.
You look great.
Oh, what an improv
Playing
there.
football.
Doing all the things we did.
Doing all the things we did. You know the stuff. You give me an example. You give me one. And then I'll give you one and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah, Tyrese, you play off me and I play
All
off
the things
you,
we
right?
did.
All the things we did.
All the things we did. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the Wait What and the Fast or Furious.
Yes, of course. Spoiler alert, I'm fast this week.
Ooh, you're in deck the homework. That is a spoiler. On a car. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deck the Hallmark. Hopefully, you're watching us on Philo. What are you wearing today, Ryan? Give people that are listening.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Give us stand
Looks
up.
like a little Jordan tank top.
Stand up and give us a little twirl.
So I'm wearing some Jordan shorts and a little Jordan. I worked out earlier,
Is that got a hood
I had
on?
to get,
Is that
got
tank
a
top with
hood?
Oh yeah, in case I get chilly.
Wear
you
the
know?
hood the rest of
He's
the
going
time.
full Creed here,
No,
ladies and
no.
gentlemen. He's got a tank top with a hood.
Brand, it would be above all 3 of us to wear props like Carrot Top during a review of a
we
podcast.
would never,
Fair.
like for this, you would never have a racing helmet on.
No,
for
I
these
wouldn't. Not
episodes.
for this week.
That would be ridiculous.
Past 10, you got to wear a racing
But I
helmet.
will
If you wear a racing helmet, I'll wear a racing
I
helmet.
would no, if we're all doing it.
That's 135 Edinburgh Court.
Edinburgh.
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 Scotland, probably.
Edinburgh. Suite 102.
Two.
The suites make no sense in this
Especially
building.
since half of the people that ship us stuff are like, that suite's not listed.
It's not
But
listed.
it says it on our door, 102.
That's all we can. That's all we can ask
were.
for. Let's do this. Let's get to the wait what's. See if we can find any for Too Fast, Too Furious. I'll start with you, Ryan.
All right, so there is some. I want to be careful with how I say this because I don't want Dan to yell at me. Like there are threads of every character that will wind up being in 4 through 10, the primary characters.
Okay.
There is some small inkling of the fact that they could become the grand espionage world CIA level operatives that they all become, except for Ludacris. Except for Ludacris. Ludacris, the spoiler alert, doesn't give anything away. 5 through 10, Ludacris is like a tech
He's a
wizard.
tech guy.
He is like he is the foremost expert in the world on how to make machinery work the way he needs to for any given mission.
Yeah.
In this movie, he collects cash at races.
No, well, I had a different.
He organizes them.
Ryan, I said Ludacris basically just is the guy that explains the rules. All movie long, he collects money and he's like, these are the rules. Oh, we're going to do this. And this is the line. And this is where you go. And that's all he does all movie. And you're right. By the time we get to 6, he's Ving Rhames from Mission Impossible. He's like got all the hookup, all the tech, everything you need. And it's absurd.
I mean, he's basically Michael Buffer in this movie, to your point. Yeah. And then to the point of Ludacris, who also becomes, I would say, by 2023, the year of our Lord, he's like one of the bigger fan favorite characters in the Fast X day and age. He tries to murder several people at the beginning of this movie. They're racing, and he's like, "Let me show you this cool trick." And I'm thinking like, "Oh, this is going to be like the genesis of him being a tech guy." No, he just paid somebody off to raise a bridge while these folks are racing at 200 miles an hour. So rough outing for
But
Luda.
if he didn't do that, Paul Walker would have no idea how to jump a hill into a boat.
Hey, we've got our resident fast guru in the comments section, Kristen Jamardino, who said that apparently that was supposed to be Ja Rule's character. So Luda replaced Ja Rule from the first movie.
So Ja Rule would have also moved to Miami,
I guess. And Tyrese, I assume, is the Vin Diesel of the film. So I would assume that if they had made it with Vin Diesel, he doesn't find him. He goes and he finds Vin, and they are able to clear their name together.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Vin said no, and they just cobbled what they could.
That's right. They just
right.
took what they could together. So there you go.
In this week's edition of Brian is the worst fighter in the history of fighters, him and Rome are scrapping much like they did as kids in the dirt after a tough football game.
Among other things.
Among and
all
other
the things we did.
And Brian on his back in these fights, as he usually is, he says out loud to Roman, who he is fighting in a scrap with, he goes, "I'm going to choke you." Thus, I'm making sure he has no chance of actually choking him at this point.
As an ex WWE wrestler, you would never say that.
We would. Yeah, all three of us have so much experience in that regard. We would never do anything of the sort.
I mean, we know better than anybody. It's just not a thing that you would do. Is it really that easy to light a windshield on fire?
I don't know. Try.
That's alarming if it is.
Yeah, I don't want to be driving in that. If the windshields are flammable, I mean, there's so much flammable in the car. I don't need the windshield to be flammable.
Facts. 2 more from me. I will let one of you two or possibly both of you cover the rat thing in more detail. There was no other logical place for me to say this. It made me very happy that there is a coverage shot of the rat under the bucket at one point. They decided. At one point, they're like, yeah.
We've got money to spend, gang. We got money to spend. Do people understand that the rat is in there? How do we make sure? Rat cam.
It's a rat cam.
We could go with the rat cam. And they're like, well, do we have the, of course, Daryl, we've got the money for the rat cam. Just shut up already. We're doing the rat cam. So at some point, they filmed a rat with a red light bulb running around and scampering. And they were like, now people know it's a rat. That was the dumbest thing I've seen all movie, and it was wonderful.
Made me so happy.
Yeah.
Made me so
Rat
happy.
cam.
And then last one, Paul Walker, Brian, the character. Maybe one of these was ad-libs. Who knows? Maybe both were. Twice in this film says, "How do you like them apples?" As if Good Will Hunting had just come out 6 months prior, even though it had been almost a decade. And that also made me really happy. And Brand just was detested by it because he thinks Paul Walker's awful. So there you go.
All right. Let's not. All right. Ryan, let me ask you this question. When Luda calls Brian at the beginning of this movie and tells him about a race, how long does he give him? How long does he tell him he has to get down to the starting line?
It's not 2 minutes,
is it? 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Which is just insane, seeing as how Brian's naked. Brian doesn't wear any clothes.
He's got a towel wrapped
so
around
he's got to get dressed. He puts on Converses, which aren't slip-ons. You got to tie those bad boys.
A lot of laces.
Then you got to get in the car and you got to drive that sucker. No. 4 minutes, you could have said anything. Yeah. You could have said any number and you went with 4.
Any number over 4 lends way more credence to it. If they said 7, I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
Because vroom, right?
But just think of, like, how long does it take you, if going as fast as you possibly could, to go from naked to fully clothed with Converses on?
Oh, at least 33 minutes, you know?
Yeah. Because you're not going to show the laces. You got to hook them inside.
You got to do the whole thing.
It takes me like 8 minutes to set up for this podcast.
Well, it's like also like by all likelihood, his Converses are not untied. You got to untie those suckers.
Yeah, those aren't slip-ons.
It's too much. It's just too much to do. And
should have gotten some Kizik's.
And so little
time. That's Kizik's.com.
You know I love my
promo
Kizik's.
code DECK. Kizik's.
Shout out to West Coast Choppers.
Yes, big shout out.
Big shout out. I believe he's Brian is wearing a West Coast Choppers shirt for a solid third of the movie.
At least.
And just want to give them the shout out that they deserve.
At least the logo is really small.
Yeah, no, it's just super small. Yeah. There's an interesting poker scene that we get to see just a bit of because it fades out. They use a full-blown fade out for a poker scene.
Yeah.
And they
don't know how to get out of the situation because they literally are playing poker for 10 seconds and then Paul Walker goes, I got to hit the sack, whatever he says.
And then just fade to black.
They're like, this scene's too short to cut it. It's too, like, we don't have anything. We'll fade it.
Just fade it.
Maybe there was like several more pages of dialogue and it was just another Paul Walker ad-lib. He was just like, you know what? I'm tired.
Yeah. I don't want to get pigeonholed. I've seen a lot of Hallmark movies, and so I guess maybe I come to expect a first kiss to mean something, to come at a certain time. This kiss caught me so off guard. She comes running in there, giving them a warning, and then they just kiss as if they've done it before. Yeah. They think nothing of it. It's not going to decide as if it's not going to just sit with them the rest of the day. Hey, I just kissed a good-looking person. No, they're like, oh, that's going to throw the rest of my day off.
I think when you're as good-looking as those two
they're just used to it.
So like,
when you're uggos like us, that's the rest of the week.
No, you're kissing hotties
like,
every day.
Oh my God.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, can you believe it? She kissed me. They don't do any of that.
No. They're just like,
we got to move on.
It's just a Tuesday.
That's it. Yeah. And last Luda is on the phone with the police present.
Yes, the police are there.
And he takes a call from Brian, and Brian is giving him an update on all of the illegal activities.
Right. Yeah.
While Luda is surrounded by the police, Luda's like, yeah, what's up, man?
Luda takes the call.
Maybe not a good time to take the call, Luda.
Yeah.
Luda?
And three films from now, he will be a government-graded, world-class spy.
That's all we can ask.
He will.
That's all we can ask for.
And we're going to be better for it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Indeed, we will.
2 different characters in this film use the word copacetic. And I know for a fact neither one of them can spell it or knows what it means. There's no way. How about how you like them apples? All right. Copacetic was used by 2 different characters. And it's the characters who are driving the cars. Like, it's Paul Walker's one of them, okay? Like, that's something. The first race of this movie
Is it a war?
is not a war. No. Ludacris has a girlfriend, maybe a side piece. I don't know. But she races, and they're racing. And the thing about racing is you need to be as fast as you can possibly be in your car. She is driving a convertible. Now, I'm not here to tell you that convertibles can't go fast. What I am here to tell you is that the science would tell you a hardback car is going to have a lot better draft than a convertible is.
That's why Jeff Gordon never rode a convertible.
That's right. Yeah, in NASCAR,
Correct.
Nobody's like got the window down. They got the top down so their hair can blow in the breeze. Like, you're trying to win a race, not look awesome. And so
That'd be sick, though.
it did
Would
look
be
pretty
sick.
sick. But it's a convertible in a street race. No, absolutely not. When we go to Verone's house, Verone says, let's go outside. And then he looks back and points at the house and he goes, the house has ears in it. Has he been bugging his own house? Is he bugging his own house?
I think so.
Has he put wires around his own house to catch himself committing crimes?
That's how little he trusts the people around him.
He's a real a criminal, like a real Florida Richard Nixon. Like, he's just like,
He's crazy.
yeah,
He's crazy.
I don't want to talk in my own house because I've wired it to catch me talking about things. So we'll talk out here where I'm wearing a wire. I don't like that was unreal.
Just
unreal
to keep him
me.
accountable.
Yeah.
Go straight to his accountability buddy.
They do torture accountability buddy. They do torture a police officer by putting a rat in a bucket and putting it on his skin. And you get the rat cam and all that's great. But the whole time that scene is going on, they are trying to get him to be willing to create a window of 15 minutes where no police officers will be watching their space. And he just keeps saying, I can't do it. Buddy, just tell him you can do it. That's all you have to do. Just say, I got you. We're good. And then go to the police or run away. You literally let a rat bite your stomach open when all you had to do was be like, all right, Carter, I'll do it. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
Why?
Wasn't looking for a dime. Didn't want a single cent. Just needed
That's right.
15 minutes
He
at a
didn't
time.
need, and there's no way to corroborate that he's going to do it. It's one of the worst threats of all time. You just go, yeah, I think I can pull that off for you. I think if you give me 15 minutes, I'll get you. Yeah,
Not a
I'll be in
second
touch.
over.
I'll text you next day or two. I'll give you your window. You're good to go. And then you go like, hey, I'm giving him this window. Arrest him. All right, we did it. We did it.
Easy.
We did it, gang.
I got you your 15 minutes. And just by the way, my family's going away. Don't think anything of that.
No. This is different. It's
They're going.
different.
They're
it's a
going.
planned vacay.
It's a planned vacay to a safe house.
That's right. So, yes.
It's been planned for months. It has nothing to do with this.
That's right. Yeah. No,
Trust
this
me.
is different. 2 to 3 days top, 72 hours max. Weekend. If you're
Good streaming
business
service.
days. Yeah. There's nothing. And then lastly, I know that police aren't supposed to be bright in this movie, and I know that they just are here to say lines and get us moving to the next scene. But there's a scene where the police are about to get Rome and Brian and catch them. And Tyrese puts a rock on the gas pedal of a Dodge Durango and sends it towards the police, 2 police cars. And one car crashes and they come to a stop. And then you watch the next car drive at like the speed the sloth from Zootopia would drive. And just slowly, oh no, he had all day. He could have stopped, put it in reverse, driven back out, caught him on the other side. He's like, well, I guess I got to hit this police car. Nothing I can do about it. Brr, brr, boom. It was the slowest collision of all time. Of all time. That's all I got.
It's time for Fast or Furious, the part of the show where things get as fast or furious, and we explain it. Yes. Ryan, are you fast or are you furious?
Bran, I'm furious.
He's furious, folks.
It's just easy. The budget for this film. Let me ask you real quick. Do you two know? Do you think the budget for this film was higher or lower?
I would say higher.
I would say lower based upon the racing scenes.
Well, Dan, you basically stole it from me. The budget for this film was literally twice as big than the first film. Like mathematically, literally twice as big. And yet these racing scenes, the racing scenes from the first one were the only thing all three of us liked. And like these racing scenes are bad.
How?
It's 2003 CGI. The only logical thing I can think of is that the entire budget went to the last 20-ish minutes of the film where they do a lot of
lay in the car
big
on the
action
boat.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, and like, and a million cars coming out of a garage, blah, blah, blah. Like, but these racing scenes are bad.
Yeah.
And they had twice as much money. So I'm furious.
You know what?
That's fair.
I bet that they filmed those other two scenes, car on the boat and and then the all the cars coming out of the garage, and then they didn't have any money left. But twice the money. I mean, come on, guys. That's crazy town.
Like they had already figured out how to do this for less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Big bummer.
I'm going fast, and here's what I need, and I need this fast. There's a piece of tech in this movie that I'm dying to get my hands on. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just kind of want to add it to my arsenal. And it's a grappling hook that you can shoot, and it connects to a car, and it just fries it.
It's an EMP.
Just really jack stuff up. I need one of those fast. I don't know how it works exactly, but I need it fast. That's my fast or furious.
I already told you I was fast because I just want to get through the next movie fast so we can get to the good boys. That's all I got.
Oh, well, there you go. We did, everybody. Congratulations. It's time for Driver of the Week.
Yes.
It's where we do a deep dive into somebody who has been submitted a Driver of the Week. Dan, who do we have this week?
We have Kilani Talmach.
Spell it for me.
K.
All right, I could have figured.
Kerlawny.
Kurlani?
Yeah, but it's pronounced, and this is in here.
What do you mean it's in here? Like in parentheses?
Yeah.
They gave phonetics.
In parentheses, KILL-AWN-EE. Kilani.
Kilani.
Talmach.
But it's spelled Kurlani, but it's Kilani.
And it's pronounced Kilani.
Okay. And what's that?
Talmach.
Talmach.
Yeah, Talmach.
What do they drive?
TALMACH. And then it says always going Talmach 3 is what it says. I think that's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be Mach 3 is what I think.
Mach 3.
But they drove.
It is.
It is Kilani. You're
It
there.
is, yes. Talani's right here. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. You're always going Talmach 3.
Always going to tell my jaw is wired shut.
Is it because of you were going Talmach 3?
I was going Talmach 3, down 95, up in Virginia. My jaw is just straight wired shut.
What does that have to do with? I'm just not going to ask that. What? Have you ever gone Talmach 2?
No, I go straight to 3, 1 to 3, and just in case, and I just want to let everybody know, in case you had a hard time hearing me, my jaw is wired shut.
I heard that the first 2 times you said it.
Right.
It says here you drive a 1997 Ford Fiesta, and I don't know how you could ever go Talmach anything.
Shooped it up.
In that vehicle, you shooped it
I
up.
shooped it up real good.
I don't know much about having your jaw wired shut, but saying the sound is just downright.
Your jaw's not wired shut. My jaw's wired shut.
You souped it up.
I shooped it up.
Okay.
Ryan, you got any questions for me as driver of the week?
Through the Wire, your favorite song ever?
Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
That's Kilani Talmach.
God bless everybody.
Kilani
Hey,
Talmach.
give somebody a Talmach today, all right?
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Give somebody a Talmach.
All right. Well, we did, everybody. If you want to send in a driver of the week, you can email us at hello@deckthehomer.com. We'll be back next week with Tokyo. What is it?
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a vroom vroom.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea, For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.
Yes.
You said it, and I just started saying consonants.